There is a very, very big strike that is possible. We actually got a call about this a few weeks ago from a Marfoogle fan member that actually works at one of the manufacturing plants. Why that this is actually possibly going to affect all of us. Not to mention, we have people like Elon Musk essentially saying that we are looking at a reckoning soon. If you look up the definition of a reckoning, it's not very good. What is going on, guys? My name is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we're going to talk about some of the most important stuff, and we're going to hit it very quickly to make best use of your time. Just to remind you, you can also find a full bibliography of all of our sources over on marfooglenews.com. In fact, you can actually, right now, I think I've got to reload this myself, you'll see that you just look for today's thumbnail. There will be a reckoning, and then, of course, today's show, and you'll be able to see all of our links. So every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. Now, the UAW nears strike at Detroit 3 as Ford blasts union. Let's bring in my co-host on this one. What's going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So we actually got a call from a Marfoogle family member before this. Not a lot of folks were even talking about this yet, and he was saying a lot of people were talking about the actors strike and the daytime TV strike and all of these things, but not too many people were actually talking about the UAW strike yet. If this happens, this could heavily affect pretty much everything. We're talking about all of the American cars that put all of their gamble into all of these battery-powered trucks and everything else. They're just sitting on the lots. Nobody is buying the dang things because they are absolute crap. In fact, everybody, anything that you hear about the electric trucks or anything like that from these big, Ford, GM, all of these companies, is that they are stuck on the side of the road. Dex, this is not going to be good either, and this is on top of everything else that we've covered this week as far as gas at 90 a barrel and everything else.
No, it's not. Anytime we have a strike, and then somebody like the UAW, which is a huge organization, obviously, given the fact that they go across all of the American auto workers, but specifically, they hold a lot of power too. So there's a lot of politics at play here when you think about it, because they typically are taken care of by certain parties, and that party's in position of power right now, and it seems like they're on the verge of striking. So that tells me things aren't necessarily going in their favor between the administration of our country and what the unions want.
And this is, again, the first ever simultaneous strike at Detroit 3 car makers by the United Auto Workers crew, but it says all but certain on Thursday, with little progress reported in the talks hours before a contract deadline expires. And that's exactly what we heard from one of these actual workers, is they said, yeah, pretty much looks like this is going to happen. They know this before they go into it. Everybody kind of has a rumor of if it's going to go or not, and if they're going to meet their demands. When this happens, everything is going to shut down. One bad part about all of this is that soon, after one strike or the other, of course, now AI and robots are coming into the picture. So very soon here, it will be like people won't be able to strike, or if they do, they'll be replaced by robots. It's no joke. Part of the argument of, as far as like the TV strike, is that they are essentially trying to argue that they shouldn't be allowed to use AI and use AI scripts and things like this, because they're going to start having AI actually do the scripts for our shows and everything else. So it's really, really quite crazy that almost all of the different unions are having issues right now. Now, this was actually this was a tweet by Alex, a verified account on Twitter, on X, or whatever you want to call it. It says VW Group has debts of 400 billion euros. If you look at Volkswagen half-year report, you will find that the total assets as of June 30th amounted to 581 billion euros, or $622 billion. Of this, 181 billion euros is reported as equity. Everything else is debt, i.e. financial debt and other liabilities amounting to just over 400 billion euros. which again, that is over $400 billion. That's $450 billion. This is the German car maker's debt ratio is somewhere between the gross domestic product of Portugal and Belgium. Financial services accounts for the largest share of 280 billion euros. VW is traditionally big in the business when it comes to car loan and leasing deals. The debts there should be well secured with hundreds and thousands of credit agreements worldwide, especially since the still high profitable division has an equity capital of over 43 billion euros. But this could change very quickly if demand for ICE vehicles decreases as a result of the shift to BEVs. Again, Dex, what is the B in electric vehicles? What does the B stand for?
I assume battery.
Battery EVs. As a result of the value of the lessened vehicle falls. It says that can likely and will happen rapidly once a certain inflection point happens. Now, it goes in. When these huge companies worth billions and billions of dollars start to have issues and start having huge problems, obviously, the government's even bailed out car companies before, but that's when you start seeing huge crashes. In fact, Elon Musk responded and very plainly and shortly said a great reckoning is coming. Now, Elon Musk, a lot of folks are, debate on what kind of person he is, whether they hate him or they love him. Either way, though, he is very connected. He's connected in almost every form of the government with one of his four main companies. And it's like the guy might be telling us a hint or might be trying to scare people. I don't know. But I think that this is something that's really obvious as far as a reckoning. Again, something that is coming that's not going to be good. And then we have PLA's latest drills near Taiwan could signal surprise attack strategy. Now, what I thought was really interesting is where this is actually coming from. This is actually coming from the South China Morning Post. Now, this isn't Global Times or the People's Daily, which those are both mainland China. This is from Hong Kong. So Hong Kong still has some outlets that are somewhat, they try to be anti-China, but they can't. Hong Kong got absorbed into China early, and they essentially, made them two countries or two countries, one China, whatever they call it. Either way, they are now part of China. So I was really surprised to see this headline from the South China Morning Post. And essentially, they could be putting this out as propaganda, but at the same time, it's like, is this what they really think? Zhao Xinming, researcher at Beijing-based Wanwang Military Science and Technology think tank, said that the fighter jets involved in the drill would also take part in Beijing's regular, quote, island encirclement patrol near Taiwan. It says, like the island encirclement patrol, cross-theater drills have become routine, taking place in the Taiwan Strait and Western Pacific, which is part of combat readiness training to prepare for the outbreak of a Taiwan contingency. It says Taiwan has tracked at least 143 PLA warplanes and 56 warships entering its air defense identification zone in the past 4 days, with 68 sorties entering the zone between 6 a.m. on Wednesday and 6 a.m. Thursday, the most in any 24-hour period this year. It says, however, a source close to the PLA told the Post that the number of PLA aircraft involved in the drills was probably higher as Beijing's J-20 stealth fighters had also joined. Essentially, China is putting it all out there. We just covered over the last couple days. They have literally loaded up their coastline with troops. They're amassing their troops at the border. It really seems like this is going to start. I would actually be surprised if it doesn't. I'm hoping it doesn't, and I'm sure in 2 weeks from now, if nothing happens, people will go, oh, nothing happened. I'm not saying it is, but it very much so looks like it is. I think it will start in the next year. That's my opinion, but I wasn't expecting it to happen this soon if this is what the beginnings are. It says China so far has more than 200 J-20s, a response to the United States deployment of hundreds of F-35 Lightning II planes in the region. Now, they're essentially saying that they believe that these drills, these literal drills, could be the start of something. And we said that a week ago, right when it was announced. And it was announced as a smaller drill, and now it has become it's almost twice as big. In fact, let's see here. Yeah, so they actually have 56 ships now. We just covered it yesterday or the day before. It was only supposed to have 20 ships, and we thought that was wild. Because 20 ships, 20 full-on naval ships, is about half or a little bit less than half of what the entire Navy NATO drill is going to put together for the largest NATO drill in history. That drill is going to have 50 ships. So right now, they have 56 warships out there. That's incredible. Again, so buckle up, people. This is something that needs to be shared out. If you don't know what's going on, or if you know somebody that's not following this, they really should pay attention. At the very least, get some sort of basic plan going. Again, make sure to go over to our website. You can find all the sources for today's show. Emergency alerts on NATO territory as Russian drone attacks force Romanians into underground shelters. Dex, do you want to talk about this one?
Well, this is kind of crazy when you think about it. You're not even involved in the conflict. You're a neighboring country, and now all of a sudden you're getting alerts, and you need to seek shelter because of the event that's happening right next door. I mean, that's got to be pretty crazy for the folks that are living there. Now, keep in mind, this is a NATO country, so to the extent that if anything were to actually happen to them, which we've seen a little fallout recently, but it was an accidental. And I think it's kind of hard for them to justify NATO's um, uh, involvement with Article 5 just over an accident. But I think if it was directed directly at them, then that would be a totally different story. But kind of crazy what's going on.
Yeah, and like if you look at what we've covered over the last week, it's like people will quickly forget what we just covered a day ago or 2 days ago, and most people only get snippets of the headlines. So you really wouldn't put this together unless if you watch for 3 or 4 days, you can see the patterns that are happening right now. Along with China doing its largest drill ever, we actually have NATO lined up to possibly do they are going to do the largest drill ever in February. Right when all of the mud and the weather gets better in UKR. It says that Russian fighter jets fired 2 missiles at UK spy plane to shoot it down. Now, we originally covered when this happened, but this is actually an update, and it kind of shows you how quick things could go south. It said a Russian fighter jet tried to shoot down a British spy plane off the coast of Ukraine carrying 30 crew members. The pilot of the Su-27 fighter jet fired 2 missiles at the British jet last September, after he thought he had permission, it has emerged. So, and by the way, there's events like this where they might actually get taken down. I believe that there's probably been several events where people actually perished and they said, oh, no, it was an accident or it went down on its own, when in reality it was actually shut down because a lot of the times they will call each other and they'll say, for the world's, sake, we're just going to forget about this. We're going to cover it up. So, people don't call for World War III. There's been several events that look very, very suspicious, and submarines getting towed back to harbor and things like this, where it's like, kind of looks like they just struck each other, and they basically say they didn't. All right. Well, this was kind of freaky because apparently, at the time, the Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said that the unarmed RAF Rivet Joint was on a routine patrol in international airspace when it was tailed by 2 Russian Su-27 fighter jets. During the 90-minute interaction, one of the jets fired 2 missiles near the RAF plane. The first one missed the target rather than malfunctioning. Moscow had blamed the missile launch on a technical malfunction. The defense secretary had said that Britain suspended patrols following the incident, which he described as potentially dangerous engagement. So, again, this might be total BS, but for them to say that the launch was on a technical malfunction, I don't know if they're saying that it didn't hit because of a malfunction or that it was on accident that it was even launched. But if that would have hit, and if that would have taken down a plane with 30 people on it, then that would have been something that could have very well sparked off WW3. So, again, there's a lot going on. This is kind of the most important stuff. Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add that the update on this is that they've got audio. The RAF has released the audio, and the audio you can hear and I didn't hear it because I don't speak Russian, but they say the Russian pilot says, "You have the target," and that's when he fired. And then you can hear his co-pilot start swearing at him, telling him to stop. Like, in other words, he misheard his command, and the co-pilot actually heard the command correctly. And he, I guess, understood he was supposed to fire. So there was no technical, mishap. There was not. This was, a human did this, and they missed because they actually didn't have the first missile locked on. I don't know if they aborted the second one or if it just malfunctioned, as they say. But the first one did not have lock, and that's why it missed. And all of this was so close that it could have literally been the event, or an event like it was described.
And Captain Opana says, did Marv talk about the train explosion yet? No, we're actually going to be having our full show, and pretty much everything that has happened in the last 24 hours will be over on our full show over on Marfoogle TV. If you're only subscribed here, then you're missing out our main show where we have call-ins. Again, tonight is a call-in show, so you guys need to be calling in tonight over on Marfoogle TV. We usually have a couple thousand at least come over and chat. It's a very fun place to be, so make sure to go check it out. Also, again, you can find it on our website, marfooglenews.com. At the very top, there's tabs. There's news, TV, and then jams. And friends, of course, you can find all of our mods. But also, you can find any of our affiliates. The affiliates help us because we're independent, and they help you because any of our affiliates are usually something that will save your life, make your life easier during a disaster, or possibly save your cars, trucks, or anything else. In the case of the EMP shield, this is a device that can actually stop or ground an EMP strike or multiple EMP strikes and ground the signal from it in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it can fry your car, your truck, whatever it may be that you end up putting these on. They make one for pretty much everything from boats to solar systems to RVs to even ham radios. So this is the same company that's outfitted agencies like DHS and DOD. And again, this is a very easy add to your car. Just do red to red wire on your battery, black to black, and then green to a part of your frame, basically green to ground, and then you're done. It takes less than 10 minutes, and it will protect your car and keep it running, not only from EMPs, but a Carrington-level event from the sun. As far as EMPs, that's a big if, and this is kind of a thing like where you don't need it until you need it, and then when you do, you'll be glad you did it. But as far as a CME or a Carrington-level event hitting, it's just a matter of when one hits, not if. It will guaranteed hit. It's just a matter of chance. So go to marfooglenews.com/EMP and make sure to use the code MARF. You'll get $50 off per device, and you'll be helping us with a small commission so we can, again, reinforce the growth of our channel. So thank you guys, and thank your mods for keeping it held down there. And then, Dex, we're going to get everybody over onto the other show. We're going to try to actually get most people seamlessly kind of ground over to our Marfoogle TV show. But if you haven't seen it, make sure to go to the website. You will find that we have all of the channels there. In fact, to just go up to the very top, you'll see news and TV. TV, the show will pop up shortly, so make sure to join us over there. Also, sign up for our alerts. You can actually get those over on our website as well. And thank you, everybody that has donated to PayPal this year. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Dex. And again, appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
What is all about this evil? If you do, you my people. Open up the steeple, dust them up like Cheeto. Hey, what is all about the evil? Cut them up like half a DeVito. Stitch them up like Lilo. Put them down on the real though. Hey, what is all about the evil? Cut them up like half a DeVito. Stitch them up like Lilo. Put them down on the real though. About me, ay. If you really want to start down an A, if you really want to be about it, look at yourself and stop judging. Ay. If you really want to lie about me, ay. If you really want to start down an A, if you really want to be about it, look at yourself and stop judging. Ay.